Everyone, welcome to the second step here in our five-step series on managing your bankroll. Everything that we're going to get into is what I do. So again, whatever you find here that is helpful, make it your own. If you think this is total crap, don't leave me any reviews and don't tell your friends, and just move on. But if you like it and there's something here that you want to further discuss, you can find me on Twitter. You can find me, you can email me. I put all that in the description of the video. So step one, we talked about getting your household finances in order. The second step is having a plan. The best thing that you can do for your bankroll is treat it like a business. You know, if you just want to throw 20 bucks in a weekend, have a couple lineups and get a nice little sweat, or you want to sweat the games or whatever, like that's totally cool. But if you want to take it to the next level and be a consistent winning player, you've got to be more professional than that. You can't just be willy-nilly. You got to really attack it with a plan. And one of the things that you aren't going to want to do, but I can't encourage it enough, is start small. One of my favorite stories from the Bible is the parable of the 10 talents from Matthew 25. If you don't know the story, I encourage you to read it. But long story short, a guy starts out with one blessing, one talent, turns it into 10, and he's rewarded. And he says to his servant, "You have been faithful over little, I will set you over much." And that's pretty much my attitude towards bankroll management and towards how to go about managing your bankroll. If you can't win at the smallest levels, you shouldn't be playing any higher level. So for me, about a year ago, I cut out everything and only played at the quarters. And I discovered a couple things. When you start out small, you can experiment. You can try different strategies. You can get into Fantasy Cruncher and start looking at, okay, do I like 1 unique, 2 unique, 3 unique? Do I like playing the showdown contest? Do I like playing the smaller slates, the bigger slates? You're not putting a ton of money at risk, so it's not a big deal if you have a losing night. But once you catch on to something, it allows you to have a sustainable and unshakable foundation. You know, the competition gets harder as you move up in stakes, but the entry fields actually get smaller. So the quarter jukeboxes that they sat out every day on DraftKings, and even in the fadeaway on FanDuel, you're competing against 5 figures worth of people. That fadeaway on FanDuel has over 100,000 people in it most nights. So if you're winning in those tournaments, like you're probably on to a really good sustainable strategy, and then you can start moving up. Also, by starting out small, you're not going to lose any sleep at night. You know, there's some nights I'd max out everything at a quarter, the contest, the micro boosters, the winner take alls, the satellites, anything and everything. I didn't really care. I just wanted volume. I just wanted to practice. I just wanted to get better. And I'd have a night from hell, and I'd be at like 20 bucks. And it's like, all right, well, that's what it would cost to go to the movies. So it sucks. I would have preferred to have won, but losing $20 ain't going to change my life. And, you know, as they say, education's expensive. You know, these kids these days are paying 6 figures to go to universities and colleges and get these degrees that aren't worth that much. You know, thankfully I went to Fresno State and got out pretty unscathed when it came to student loans. I don't need any email right now. Sorry about that. But yeah, it'll help you withstand and overcome downswings. You know, if you're staying at a level that you're comfortable with, you'll get used to winning and losing at that level. And the losing at that level is actually more important because it starts to become more normal, where you see the money as just your price of admission to play in the contest and not looking at it and, oh, I lost $200 that's my cell phone bill this month. If you start too high and you're looking at your bankroll in that way, you're not going to be successful. It's going to drive you nuts. You're going to lose sleep. You're going to be all over the map. You're going to start developing bad habits. Oh man, I'm down $200. So tomorrow I'm going to enter this $200 contest, and if I just double up, I won my money back. And that's a really bad path to be on. I really am passionate about establishing and setting up bad habits. And a lot of what I talk about is from making mistakes and, you know, falling into the temptation of having some of these bad habits and really breaking through to finding something that's systematic and something that you can really stick to. And we're going to get into that next. So the bankroll management and staking plan that I use is actually what I call the levels. Sparkling Waters, what's up? Live healthy. And this is exactly what I use. This exact staking plan that I use. What up, Tony? It's very simple. It's 12 steps. It's like AA. These are the steps. So you don't have any bankroll whatsoever. You're going to start there, and you're only going to play in the quarters. That's probably not what you want to hear. I get that. It's not what I wanted to hear when I told myself that, hey, John, if you want to be good at this, you can't step up. You can't be putting more money into play, losing sleep over it, without something that you consistently won at. So this is the challenge that I set out for myself, and this has been the one thing, one of the things, there's probably about 3 things, but this is one of them that has changed my DFS career forever, and I will never go back. And this is something that I've tinkered with, and every couple of months I'll try to maybe see if I can improve upon it. And I just keep coming back to it being the best thing that I could possibly do. And this is what it's going to force you to do. So if you start out, hey, I'm depositing $50 into DraftKings, okay, stay at the quarter level. The longer you stay at the quarter level, the longer you will be able to develop the good habits that we're talking about. And when you get to a position where you have succeeded this and shown $250 in profit, so let's say you just go on a month-long heater and you get to the 250. Awesome. So we'll go ahead and we'll highlight this. And we completed this on January 28th. So the next day we're going to step up on January 29th. And this is our new level. And here's the beauty of the levels. There's a couple things actually. Number one, you're playing at the dollars now, plus the quarters. So now your volume's increasing. Now you're really getting some good action here. You don't have to put a bunch of money into play to get really good volume and really good action. FanDuel's got better at this. DraftKings phenomenal at this. Even some of the smaller sites like Fantasy Draft or Yahoo do have a handful of good solid games where you can get your reps, get good, start building that long-term winning strategy. And then as you go up, it's just on. And the best part about every level that you complete, your confidence just goes up and up and up. And you start seeing these dates on here. Let's say this took you about 6 weeks to get done. You get it done mid-March, and then you move up to this one, and you're finishing out basketball season, and you're powering right into baseball season. This is the thing that's so great. And I actually will have the different levels for every sport. So I actually have a level for every sport and every site. So I can tell you within a penny for every single sport, every subcategory of that sport. So if you ask me, hey, how are you doing in winner take alls for basketball? I can tell you to the penny of what where I'm at with it. And I can also tell you what my win rate is, what my ROI is. We'll get into that in a future video. But this is my staking plan. It's very simple. And each level, the way that it's tiered and it's structured is to give you adequate amount of time to stay at that level to learn the nuance of the level. Because that is the thing. The quarters are different from the dollars. The dollars from the 2 to 3 to the 4. Not that much different, but there are some things that are different that you can only notice as you spend some time there. So, you'll probably be able to race out to the $500 once you get a winning strategy relatively quickly. And here's a good barometer for whether or not your strategy is good. If you can get through the first 4 levels, spending about a month each, your strategy's fire. It's good. It's one of the best. They say that only about 10% of the people that play DFS make a profit. You're now in that 10%. And that's what's so awesome about these levels. It gives you the confidence to know that you belong and you can stay. And that's why we're building good habits. The better habits you have, the more you protect your bankroll, the longer you can stay in the game. So, it gets really exciting too when you start getting into here, these $4 or $5 range, because you're getting a ton of volume every night. You're playing a ton of action, but you're not over leveraging yourself to a point where if you hit a downswing. So 2018 was my first year approaching DFS as a professional. And baseball, I think I had one of my downswings. The worst one was about 2 weeks. And basketball, ironically, which is my best sport, I had a 3-week downswing that was really, really difficult, really, really challenging. But because I document everything and I stuck to my plan and I stuck to the levels, I was able to, it sucked, but I was able to come back and be like, okay, look at your sample size. Where are you at? And that's the beautiful thing about the levels is all of them have a built-in 20% stopgap. So when you get into a new level, you just go ahead and you take a look at, all right, well, I got to the 500 and I hit a rough patch and my bankroll fell below 400. Dude, no problem. Drop back down to 250 and you have to get back up to level 3, so you're about $100 away from doing it. So what it really does is it forces you to have something that is in place that you do not have to think about. It's just, hey, where am I at? Okay, these are the contests that I'm going to sign up for today, and just focus on your strategy at that point. You're not chasing a bunch of overlay or chasing a bunch of strategies. Hey, when a new quarter jukebox opens up, I'm in it. When I'm at the dollar level, when a new NBA and one opens up on DraftKings, I'm in it. When you get to the $3 level, you start playing in the sharpshooter. 4-point play is the $4. It's awesome. This is what's worked for me. It's changed my life when it comes to DFS and the staking plan. So the next piece that we'll be talking about is avoid taking shots and leverage satellites for your shot taking. So every site, I shouldn't say every, but the main ones, FanDuel and DraftKings, they have satellites. And I've talked about this in a previous video, so go back into the archive and watch it if you want a little bit more information about this. But I'll show you exactly what I'm doing right now. So this is, we'll open up my DraftKings account, say bye to Tony Robbins. We'll go to my account, go to my tickets. So this is what I'm currently trying to leverage right now. So I want to take a shot in the $44 spin tournament. Almost every day, DraftKings has a $5 spin satellite. So if you take first or second, you get a $44 ticket into this contest. They also have a tournament that they run once or twice a day for 10 cents to win a $44 ticket. So I have 12. When I get to 20, I'm going to play in that tournament. I'm also cashing in my crowns for these tickets. That's where you see this $44 ticket here. That was from cashing in on crowns. A $44 ticket is about $24,000 24,000 crowns, which equivalent to dollars and achievements and things like that. So I can cash in my crowns about once or twice a month for an additional ticket. So it takes me about a month to get 20 tickets, but my overall investment into those tickets is much less than the $800 of tickets that will actually take place. The other big contest that they're running later this month is the $11 run and gun, and I put about $25 a day into satellites to get some shots into bigger tournaments that I want to play in to get the experience, try to pad my bankroll, and level up. Last part here is have a withdrawal goal. So in the first video, we talked about having, DFS money is just for, your DFS money is not bill money. And so let's say you get to the $1,500 and you're like, man, this has been so great. I've never been this successful at DFS. This is really working for me. And you want to pull out $1,000. That's cool. Pull out $1,000 and you'll drop back down to level 3. Or maybe you're just like, hey, you know what? I just want to pull out $500 and take my family on a weekend trip. Okay, great. But you'll just know that where you're at in your levels and your plans. I would advise, if you can, to leave DFS money just for DFS. But if you need to touch it. But just know where you are in the process. And if you pull money out, drop down where that dictates in the level. Have the discipline to be able to do that. And I really hope this helps you guys. This is exactly what I use. It's incredibly simple. I know it might seem like, dude, this is too simple. I got to do the Kelly criterion, or 80% in cash, 20% GPG. I'm 100% a GPP player. I don't play any cash. It's a waste of my time. I want to put a little bit of money to have an opportunity to win a lot of money. And for me, an average week, I probably lose 4 days a week, and those 3 days that I do win usually pay for all of the losses and then some. And I just like that model a lot more than playing in cash. But this staking plan would work for you in cash as well. Hey, start out at the dollars, head-to-heads, move up to the 2s, to the 5s, the double ups, triple ups, whatever. This works. I love it. I don't want to toot my own horn because I created it, but it's pretty great and it works for me. Again, all of these videos are just about taking what has worked for me and has proven to work for me and make it your own, put your own spin on it. If you have any questions, if you want to further discuss this, if you want to talk about how we got here, or if you want a copy of this, I can email it to you. Find me on Twitter. Email me. That's all in the info below. Like, subscribe, tell your friends. Find me on the Twitters. Email me on the Yahoos. Holler at your boy. I'll see you guys for part 3. Thanks for watching.